Okay, in this video I want to create my cover page for my InDesign document. So I'm not going to worry about the other pages. I'm just going to work on page number 1, which is going to be my front cover. And I certainly don't want it to look like that. So I'm just going to select that and delete it. Now, it helps if you plan ahead, if you prepare the files and you've got some idea either on paper or in your head as to what you want your cover to look like. And I've certainly done that. So you might remember I created that grunge background. So I'm going to start with placing the grunge background onto my first page. Now, placing is the same as inserting. Okay, they call it place, and the shortcut is Command D. Now, obviously, you need to find the folder where all your files are. That's why it's important to have all your source files gathered together into one location. And I can see, because of my numbering and my naming system, I know where my grunge background is. So I'm just going to start by opening that up. And this is a large file, so expect it to be bigger than the page. You can see it's actually, it's almost a double page spread. Now, in InDesign, it's recommended that you don't enlarge files to make them bigger, although you can make it, this one's not quite the height of the page, so I can hold down the Command and the Shift key and just press and drag and just make it slightly bigger, and I can get away with that. It's not going to cost me any loss of quality. It's when you make large enlargements that if you print, you can actually lose a lot of quality. So there's my grunge background in place, but it's actually hard to see the page now because I haven't got it in preview mode. So I might just tap on the letter W. That's better. So now I can see the preview of what the page will look like. And I often toggle between normal view or working view and preview, and so you can see I can move within that to a different type of grunge. So I might just leave it at that. So there's my grunge background. Now, if you're worried about moving it out of place, you can always go to Object and you can lock it. And that will lock the image so you don't accidentally, you can't grab it. See how I can't even move it now? So that's something to remember. You can lock it. Now, the next thing I want to do is bring in my logo, which is the white one, the reverse one. So back to File, Place, and again, because it's named properly, reverse just means white. So there's my Bill Bailey logo, and I get a thumbnail telling me where do you want to stick it. I'm going to plonk it here. Once again, it's bigger than the page required. So I'm just going to Command, Shift, and drag, and I'll place it in the middle. Now, as I drag it, notice this pink line that appears. See that pink line? That's telling me that that's the center of the page. So I can just drop it there and know that it's actually smack in the middle. I might go Command, Option, Shift, drag, and now you can see it's a different type of resizing. It scales it down from the center inwards. So now I might just place that there, and that looks pretty good. And the next thing I want to do is add some text. So this brings up the type tool. Okay, so I've got the type tool selected, and the way you add text is you basically press and draw a box, and you will type the word that you want. And so in this case, it's going to be Bill Bailey. And you can't see because it's in black at the moment. So I might just highlight that. See how I triple clicked? You can triple click and that will highlight all the text. And then because the text icon appears in my swatches, I can now click on white. And I might just make it bigger too. So let's just go and make that nice and big. Now, this is where your language of, or your understanding of type will come into play. You know, obviously you can choose a font that exists on your computer, or you can bring in a free one from Google Fonts or even from Duff Font. And I've actually done that. I've got one called Sidewalk that I quite liked, and it looks like that. So I might just use Sidewalk, and then I'll go to Paragraph. Don't hyphenate. I don't want it hyphenated, and I want it centered. And then when I click on the Move tool, I might even bring that down to the edge of the page. I'll just drag it out so it sits in the edge. I can bring that up a bit. If I cover that too much, you'll notice I get a little red box. I'll just zoom in. Okay, whenever you see this little red box with a plus sign in the middle, that tells you you've got some text that's covered up. So just know that you can drag this down. Okay, so there's my first text box in position and it's centered with the logo. Now the next text box will say the word portfolio. You can actually type whatever you want, but I might just again press and drag, and this time I'm just going to say portfolio, and just to keep it simple I'll make that white as well, and I'll choose as my font something like a sans serif font, something basic like Arial. That'll do, not really fussed. I can make the spacing. Let me just bring this over here and I'll zoom in. From here I can change the spacing. I can space it out, and I can change the style. I can make it bold, and once again I can center it. And yeah, I don't have to untick the hyphenate, but sometimes I find that if you've got lots of words, InDesign has a habit of hyphenating them. So there's my second word in place, and guess what? It's as simple as that. My front cover is complete. If, for instance, let's just say, I just want to show you this other thing. Let's just say that things weren't lined up. Let's say the logos were all over the place. I can then select 1, hold down the Shift key, 2, hold down the Shift key, 3, so that's Shift click, select all 3 items and move them all at once. But I can also go to the top here where there's little icons appear, and I can align them to one another. So if I click on the center one, they're all aligned to one another. And then I can move them into position. Oops, I actually hit that one. I didn't, just undo that. Got to be careful when you're moving, and this is a problem with InDesign. If I double click that, I can actually move the artwork within the box and hide it. So I've got to be careful with my double clicking. So I'll just undo that. Yeah, it's a little problem with InDesign. You've got to be careful that when you're highlighting anything that you select, make sure it's got a blue box around it, a faint blue box, not a brown box. Because if you double click and it turns brown, like you can see there, you can accidentally move the image within the actual window and hide it. So watch out for that. So now it's blue, blue, and blue. Oh, no, that's brown still, sorry. Let's start again. Blue, blue, blue. And now I can move it to the center of the page. And that's the cover finished. I might just move it down a little bit. So again, Shift click, they're all blue, and then I bring them down a little bit. Cover has been completed.